It's the penultimate day of the Premier League season. Brighton and Hove Albion are pretty much in the safety zone, and they take on Manchester United at home today. The Manchester United side still really kind of recovering from that grueling matchup against Real Madrid, in which the score really could have been anything. And Brighton, as we said, pretty much safe in 13th place in a good first season for Chris Hughton and his Brighton team. Gregg Popovich just going through the motions as the season comes to a close, having already wrapped up the Premier League title. And well, the top scoring teams in the league, but sometimes it's been rather forced for Manchester United, conceding 4 against Real Madrid. Obviously was the kind of catalyst for that kind of reason. It needs to be shook up defensively for United in the summer transfer window, but Gregg Popovich won't be thinking about anything going to next season. He still needs to get through this one first. Ryan starts in goal for Brighton. Scalestro, Duffy, Dunk and Bang are in the defence, or is that Bong? I'm not sure. Koldor, Capio, Prepa and March are the midfielders, as Gotti goes behind Danny Ings. Manchester United and Coach Park, it's Andreas Pereira in goal, and he's with Darmian, Rojan Williams, Chris Smalling, Luke Shaw in his defence today. Lingard is with Carrick, Redmond and Robin Solby, and up front it's Deliri and James Wilson, much like it was a few games ago. And the reason for Pereira and De Gea on the bench is that Sergio Romero actually picked up a training injury last week. We actually forgot to completely mention that in the Real Madrid matchup. The matchup was so huge that we forgot the little things, and it's that Sergio Romero picked up an injury in the training exercise. It's only a bruised rib, and he'll be probably out for the rest of the season, in which case anyway, because of the way Greg does his stuff, as it were. So the penultimate game of the Premier League season, not something Manchester United need to really concern themselves with. The title's already wrapped up, and Greg has obviously got one eye on his best squad for the Champions League match. Michael Carrick in his penultimate game for Manchester United. May he be his last? We'll wait and see. It will certainly be his penultimate game. I think you can always assume that he's not going to play against Real Madrid. And with his heart problems, I don't think, heart rhythm problems, which has been fixed. He's had an operation on that. I don't think Greg will want to risk it. Deliri, at the post, and Jesse Lingard has put it in. Well, how about that? Deliri, great shot off the post. Jesse Lingard with a tap in. And Manchester United, amazingly, they have the lead. And Ryan getting nowhere near that. And much like what Manchester United's goals have been this season, where the goalkeeper's put it into another player's path and he put it in, Jesse Lingard has done that for United for a change. His 5th goal in the league this season. 3 of them were against West Brom in that magnificent hat-trick he scored. And he's got one here. Brighton 0, Manchester United 1. They head it forward. The limber is found. James Wilson. James Wilson. Oh, he's put it in. What a belter from Wilson that is. James Wilson. An absolute belter. And obviously he came on and I think scored a hat-trick for Ryan Giggs in one of his few games in charge after David Moyes in 2013. It was in 2014, I think. It's a wonderful goal by Wilson. No chance for the keeper. Probably should have saved it. Gregg Popovich is certainly returning back to winning ways in the Premier League. Lost against Bournemouth, drew against Arsenal. Ings for Brighton. He's pulled it back towards Skillerson. And Colwyn now, and Harper. Oh, he's put it in. And Joe Pierre, no clean sheet today as Harper proper gives Brighton a bit of a lifeline going into the break. Spurs are certainly not going down here, and Joel Pierre has played well. And he couldn't stop that one. Unfortunate, really. Just 2 over him. In the end. Proper gives Brighton a lifeline as we approach half-time. It's the end of the first half, and Manchester United have the lead, and Brighton have a lifeline. There's much more ready to say than that. Of course, like the other matches in the Premier League over the end of the season, it's turned into a bit of an exhibition match for anyone that comes for safety for Brighton and league champions for Manchester United. It's turned into a bit of an exhibition. At least we're getting a lot of goals in it. Brighton 1, United 2 at the break. Also, Daenerys latched onto it. It's gone through Ryan into the back of the net. And Zachary Deliri puts the result all beyond doubt now. And Manchester United are taking 3 points back home to Old Trafford in preparation for the second leg. James Wilson with a beautiful pass. Deliri latched onto it well and put it through the keeper. And something is not right with this ball, because there's been a lot of shots going through keepers this season. I think they'll be able to get this ball out of their jurisdiction and probably get a new ball for the new season. Zachary Deliri makes goal number 2 of his career. In the last 2 games. And that is the end of the game. Rather exhibition kind of feel to the match. Manchester United taking all 3 points home against the survivors of their first season. Brighton can hold their heads up high this season. They've done more than anyone could have expected. But Manchester United, even with a weakened side, just too strong. Zachary Deliri gets 2, I think, and Jesse Lingard got the other. And even when they're not firing on all cylinders, Manchester United, they still score and they still win. Actually, Wilson got the other one. And it's rather superfluous in terms of really any meaningful table development, but it does help Manchester United grow their lead. Brighton 1, United 3. So all the scores from today are through crucial results. We're going to start at the Emirates, where it really just shows no sign of improving for Arsenal. They've actually lost to Burnley today by 2-0, but Bournemouth have more than likely, I would have thought, have confirmed their safety with a 1-0 win over Swansea. What a phenomenal turnaround by Eddie Howe. I think Bournemouth will be safe. We'll have a look at the table in a moment. Everton beating Southampton by 2-1. Leicester City get a point against West Ham with a 1-1 draw. Stoke City beating Palace by 3-0. Watford beating Newcastle 2-0. And West Brom lose to Spurs at the same scoreline. Well, taking a look at the Premier League table, it's all really superfluous, to be honest, for a lot of the teams. Manchester United's lead at the top is 13 points. Watford have all but secured 3rd place. Leicester City are going to fight it out with Everton on the final day for the final Champions League spot. Spurs may just sneak in, but it looks very unlikely. Their season has run out of steam. Liverpool are going to probably consolidate 7th to all accounts. Stoke City are going to be 8th, Manchester City 9th, Southampton in 10th, and Arsenal, they still could finish in 10th place, but they need a win and help Southampton lose or draw. Now, as far as the relegation battle is concerned, I think Bournemouth are definitely safe. So Eddie Howe, out of completely nowhere, has saved Bournemouth, and from being 8 games without a win at the beginning of the season, his final placing is 13th place. That is truly sensational. And it does actually look like, barring a few changes in the table, Brighton have 2 games in hand over the rest of the chasing pack. We thought they were actually pretty safe. I think they pretty much are, looking at their, they've got 2 games in hand over the rest of the relegation battle. Huddersfield and Newcastle are outside the zone. They could also be relegated with Swansea City. Crystal Palace and West Brom are there. And I have to say that Crystal Palace and West Brom are down. because we only have one game left and they are 4 points behind Swansea City. So Crystal Palace and West Brom have automatically gone down today. It's between Huddersfield, Newcastle, Swansea, I believe, because Brighton have 2 games in hand. So it is between Huddersfield, Newcastle United, and Swansea City to see who will join them on the final day. Now, I'm not sure what the matchups are. We'll go and have a look at those. Alright, so the final day matchup, Burnley and Bournemouth will actually go up against each other. And that could be a pivotal game in Burnley's fight to survive. Bournemouth have already secured safety, of course. Crystal Palace will take on West Brom, who have automatically gone down. Huddersfield have a very difficult trip to Arsenal, although you probably wouldn't have said that considering Arsenal's season, so anything could happen there. Liverpool have Brighton, but Brighton are more than not safe. United have Watford. Newcastle United have Chelsea, so with Chelsea on the rise, that's going to be interesting. Southampton have Manchester City, Spurs have Leicester City, Swansea City have Stoke City, and West Ham have Everton. I guess the one matchup we'll have to keep an eye on more than most will be Newcastle United and Chelsea at St James's Park. So with that in mind, Chelsea are on a rise at the moment, so Newcastle could struggle. Huddersfield have Arsenal, as we said, which could be interesting. Because Arsenal's season has been so up and down, anything could happen there. And Burnley have Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth are safe, so they don't really have to worry about anything. It's Burnley that need this matchup. It's going to be very tight, isn't it, on the final day? Like we said, anyone from Burnley down to Swansea City could go down on the final day, with Palace and West Brom already relegated. Their hopes of survival are done. Swansea City, apparently, according to this, have 2 games in hand over Burnley, Huddersfield and Newcastle United. Now that's interesting. Now that I have a look at that again. So Swansea City could escape. And that, I think the most telling thing at the bottom is that Swansea do have 2 games in hand, and that's why they've not been relegated yet. Huddersfield and it's between Burnley, Huddersfield, Newcastle and Swansea as to who goes down, and Swansea had that extra game in hand over the other candidates, so it is all going down to the final day and all results will count in their respective games. But as I said, Huddersfield have a tricky one at Arsenal if they want to stop Arsene Wenger having a happy win to go out with. So there's that. Burnley, of course, have Bournemouth, and Bournemouth are safe. But Bournemouth with Jermaine Defoe have been flying. It's going to be so tight, isn't it? That final relegation spot is going to be a very telling thing elsewhere with Manchester United and Watford, whose game is really superfluous to anything at all. It's the games at the bottom that probably are going to have the most intriguing prospects as far as this year's table is concerned. But the telling thing, as I said, Swansea City having 2 games in hand over Burnley, Huddersfield and Newcastle. I'll have to wait and see what happens on that front. It's hard to tell what is going to happen in this second leg when you involve Manchester United. Can they perform another miraculous comeback? It's the second leg of the Champions League semi-final between United and Madrid. Live next. Well, we don't really know what's going to happen, but it's going to be a cracker. Real Madrid and Manchester United, hosts of an epic first leg clash, which Madrid won 4-3 in the away tie. So that basically means that Manchester United cannot win this match by going. Well, they can't go through on the away goal rule. Even if they score tonight, Real Madrid will go through on the away goal. So Manchester United have to score at least twice to progress to the Champions League final. And as we've said a lot of times this this season. They're probably not equipped to do it, not fully, but they did turn it around against Paris Saint-Germain. And, well, they're probably the second best club in the tournament, or third if you put them behind Barcelona. And, well, we really can't give you an answer. What we can do is do the squads, and Navas is in goal for Real Madrid. Carvajal is the fullback with Mauricio on the other side. It's Ramos and Varane, just like it was in the first leg. Livermore, Camisio, Kroos and Asensio are behind Ronaldo and Karim Benzema. So it is pretty much the same squad that started the first leg. If Gregg Popovich is going out tonight, he's planning to go out swinging, and boy, is he taking some risks. As Joel Piera starts in goal, with Bertrand, Rojo, Jones and Valencia in front of him. It's Gomez with Blind and Pogba, the front three. Martial, Lukaku and Rashford all starting. He's going all out, he's taking risks, and he plans to enjoy the night no matter what, because Manchester United realistically probably shouldn't have been here in the first place. The fact that they are is astounding, not just from winning, overturning it against PSG, but just the fact that Gregg Popovich has progressed this far is just an outstanding achievement. He's told his players to enjoy the occasion, and no matter what happens, you've done your fans proud. Here we go then. Real Madrid, they can relax a little bit unless Manchester United really start fast. They don't have to worry about drawing this match and going out, because Manchester United have to score twice at least to win. They have to win this match pretty much on the aggregate scoreline. They can't rely on the away goal rule. It's too significant, the deficit, when it comes to the away goal rule for Real Madrid, after scoring 4 of them. So Manchester United, they have to win. It is astounding to think that Joel Piera is in goal, but he's had a great end to the season. That penalty save against Arsenal was such a great save, and Joel Piera has really come alive towards the end of the season. And you have to wonder if Sergio Romero's days are numbered. With Joel Piera on the rise that he is. Here comes Angel Gomez. Oh. Put it wide. What a chance for Angel Gomez. I don't think it's his first Champions League start. I think he should start before, but this is undoubtedly the biggest match in his career so far. And if Gregg Popovich has any say in the matter, he's going to have a pretty astounding career by all accounts. The kid is buckets full of talent. There's no doubt about that. His future is certainly in red with Manchester United if Gregg Popovich has his say. Eddie Blind, great ball. Anthony Martial. Oh, he's delayed to pull the trigger, but it's worked. Now, Martial has scored a goal that puts United level, but they will go out on the away goal rule. They need to score one more. I was wondering when Martial was going to shoot, but he wanted to make sure that he put it in the back of the net, because it is a crucial goal, to be fair. It is well played by Martial, to be honest. He wanted to make sure it went past the line and went into the back of the net. And Zinedine Zidane could be fearing another Manchester United miraculous comeback. They need to score again, however, because as of right now, they're winning on the night, but they're going to go out in the away goal rule for aggregate reasons. Martial has given Manchester United the starting block they need. Can they go on from here and win it? There's still plenty of time. Real Madrid 0, United 1. Their comeback could be on. The end of the first half, it is still advantage Real Madrid, but on the night, Manchester United have a chance of making another miraculous Champions League comeback, because they've brought the aggregate score level, but as it stands, Real Madrid's superior away goal advantage means that United have to score again. 0-1 to Manchester United on the night, 4-4 in aggregate, but as of right now, it is still advantage Madrid. Asensio can't find really anywhere to go. Oh, and saved by Piera. Benzema. Oh, and Piera's kept it out. Oh, wonderfully done by Joel Piera, and that's why Gregg Popovich started him in the goal tonight. Wonderful save. Back in, Rojo clears it. Sensational stop by Joel Piera. It's amazing that we're talking about him more than David De Gea this season. But he has just really risen through the ranks immediately. And in the end of the season, he's having an absolutely stunning time right now. Toni Kroos. And Gareth Bale coming on for Karim Benzema. Early switch by Zinedine Zidane. Madrid get the throw in. It's going to be Ronaldo. Goes it out to Bale. Carvajal. And now Bale into Benzema. And that is pretty much game over. As far as the tie's concerned, it's Modric, my apologies. But it's unfortunate because Joel Piera had a good night. But sometimes that is the way it goes. Real Madrid, too powerful and too good. Angel Gomez tries to put Modric off, but he can't do it. And Modric, cool as you like. Great header. A man who's been in and out of form at Madrid in his time, but Modric showing that he's still got it in the huge games. And that is the case here. And United now level on the night, but back behind on the aggregate score. Jones back forward. Found Saha. Is he offside? The linesman says no. Out by Ramos for another corner. Manchester United finding a late surge here. And Keylor Navas. It's a great save from the head of Rojo here. Another one who's had a really good game, Navas, since the goal. Corner by Blin. Pogba! Oh, it's saved by Navas and Zlatan. And Pogba puts it in for close range. And we have a 10-minute tense last few minutes here. Let me give it out. And, well, Navas, it was a brilliant save from the initial thing here. But Daley Blind, great save again from Rojo. The ball falls to Pogba off Zlatan's shot. I think he miscued it. Pogba's called for onside and the goal stands. So Navas was a great save initially. Zlatan shoots. It ends up with Pogba of all people. And he puts it in. And the last 6 minutes of the game could be a bit nervy here if Manchester United get forward again, because they've been in the ascendancy in the last 10 minutes or so. Real Madrid man acting as a bit of a decoy. Now here comes Manchester United. One last attack. Wilfried Zaha. He's got the pace. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is going into the box. He's got the ball. Oh, he's missed it. Oh, Zlatan Ibrahimovic usually clinical, but not today. It's just an... Oh, he probably should have taken a touch. Maybe he didn't have the confidence. He's, wow. That's a poor miss from Zlatan, really. And I think Navas have the final kick of the game. He and Pierre have had a great night in terms of saves. And that is over. Manchester United out at the semi-final stage. But they win on the night by 2-1. A valiant effort against the Kings of Spain in Real Madrid. They were just too strong for Manchester United, especially in the first leg. But boy, did they give Real Madrid a fight. And they have done their fans proud this season with all they've achieved. In the semi-final stage, no one could have even imagined it. But when they come up against Real Madrid, they just prove why they are so strong. But they lose on the night this time around. But they go through on the away goals wall. But Manchester United have done their fans proud by even getting here in the first place. And you consider the scenario that was at PSG in front of them. They'll be back, and they'll be much stronger next season. And it's going to be an El Clasico Champions League final. You have to think with Barcelona 2-0 up against Sevilla currently. We'll bring you the update as we get it. It's going to be Spurs and Manchester City in an all-Premier League FA Cup final. So, as far as it is all concerned, it was an all-Premier League FA Cup final. It was an all-Premier League Carabao Cup final with Manchester United and Watford. And in the Champions League final, it's an El Clasico final. So it has been 2 English finals and 1 Spanish final. as far as the cups around the domestic league are concerned. And despite the heroic efforts of the likes of Celtic and Napoli, it has pretty much been kind of normal service resumed. Although Watford, to be fair, were kind of the minnows in the Carabao Cup final in that regard, even though they had a brilliant season up to a point. But yeah, El Clasico final in the Champions League.